by Scott James Stewart, contributing writer, in 5D.com. The existence of the ghost, or ghosts. There is a very good reason why we are called human beings. It is because we are half human and subject to influences as we were half being. They are probably not really ghosts. The word has an exonym. The ghost, who may actually be many ghosts, this is not yet determinable by me, are beings, and act as part of us like a soul. The term I came by for the seeming symbiotic relationship is companionship. Not all beings are ghosts, but all ghosts are beings. Beings do not have physical anatomy like Homo sapiens, so their visibility is different. Ghosts are especially interesting because they divide into two groups at any one time. In the English language, one of the groups likes to use the label evil. The other group is happy to be labeled good since it seems to go with going against evil. This is not inappropriate, a matter that will be discussed in topic 3, what they do, but obviously has religious overtones. Ghosts are in most ways concerning Homo sapiens, as outlined in autonomy, volition. This is not actually true, but essentially and effectively true. The reason for saying this will be evidenced by the assertions in what they do, which should actually be restated as what they can do. It is as a result of this imbalance of capabilities that ghosts are able to remain unknown and unaccounted for. They use their extensive experience and abilities to make sure that Homo sapiens remain unaware of their existence. Their motives for their anonymity will be outlined at SEQ. What are they? Where are they? If ghosts exist, why don't we have proof, irrefutable proof, of their existence? The answer is that they do not want to be found, or known. They do not want humans to be certain and have evidence that they exist. Perhaps, a natural question would be, if there are many of them, how many of them are there, then how can there be unanimity in them not wanting to be known? It is surprising to realize that both groups of ghosts, good and evil, have preeminent motives for maintaining their status, unseen and unknown. As a matter of accuracy, obviously they are not entirely unseen and unknown, because every culture knows about them, but there are no facts, no irrefutable evidence, only folklore. No one, in the industrialized West, has not heard of a ghost, but there is no evidence to define what a ghost is. The ghosts have the ability and the power to continue the status quo and not provide evidence of their existence. What then, are ghosts, and from what do they derive the aforementioned ability and power to avoid our detection and scrutiny? This essential question is not only foundational, but underpins their motives and reasoning, as will be shown in the last chapter on motives. There is, obviously, some circular reasoning involved in this chapter of what. But it is possible to infer what they are from what they are not. Ghosts are not physical in a classical sense. They are not composed of everyday matter. They are composed of something we cannot see, unless they want us to. Without getting somewhat hypothetical and complicated, they might, as well, therefore be composed of electromagnetic frequencies, light, or energy, in a part of the spectrum that is not visible light. Related article, are you being visited by a ghost, a loved one from the other side, or an angel? Since we cannot see ghosts, unless they choose, then we cannot know where they are, unless you read this entire report, in which case you will realize that they are not limited to occupying space in the conventional sense that we do, and this fact means that it is not important where they are. It would only be important to creatures like us because we usually think visually and we rely heavily on our sense of vision. The correct response to where are they is to realize that their involvement and effects are everywhere. A good analogy is to say that ghosts are like gravity or microwaves. Invisible to our eyes, but their effects and influence are extensive, changing and pervasive. The detail avoided here is that ghosts are not limited to a single shape occupying space. They can change their shape at will, including having no physical form at all. What they do, ghosts do telepathy and telekinesis. They are the highest life form on planet Earth. They are arguably, by a very significant margin, the people who are responsible for the direction of affairs of planet Earth. We live in a ghost's world. telepathy is used to talk between themselves so that Homo sapiens can't hear, unless they have made a conscious decision to be heard by AHS, in which case they must also make a decision regarding what voice they're going to use. Since there are no sound waves involved in telepathy, and nothing entering the ear, the sound timbre, the distinctive characteristics that we ascribe to a person's voice, for the ghost's telepathy, voice is the result of a decision they make. They usually choose a voice that is known to the subject they are talking to. Reasons. In another work, telekinesis is the ability to have a physical impact on a material as the result of a conscious decision to do so, followed by a directed effort to bring about the result that was the topic of the decision. The process of enacting telekinesis is unremarkable, because it is just the same as human decisions that lead to intention and often behavior. The importance of telekinetic capability for HS is that ghosts can impact HS physiology. They can make a person twitch, sleepy, crave for a particular food or drink, get a cramp, get blurry vision. Much more importantly, critically in fact, they can change your feelings. For example, if you are going to get up off your lounge and go get some exercise, but a ghost decides to change your feelings, by the time you get to the door, you will say, "I just don't feel like going for a walk. I think I will get something to eat instead." If a ghost decided to interfere with your feelings, then whatever you want to do you may not get done, and whatever you feel like doing can be stopped, changed, or made more difficult. Feelings are similar to emotions, and different from thoughts. You may feel like eating chocolate ice cream, but you think it will make you fat. You feel like buying a new car, but you think you should wait until you have saved a bit more money. If ghosts are not effectively in charge of planet Earth through the use of their telepathy and telekinesis, then they are at least equally as important as we are. The individuals who decide to be major players in determination of the affairs of Earth are always at battle stations. To achieve an outcome that they want, they must use teamwork and coordinated effort. Since they are not made of the same physical material as us, the outcomes they want are not as familiar, or materially obvious as acquiring a car, or hanging the washing out. But if they need information about something that happened recently, for example, if they want to acquire some information, they can find someone who is watching television in their home, then influence that person to change the channel by changing the person's feelings and using auto-suggestion and semi-transparent imagery, and inspire that person to continue watching that program until the information they wanted has been shown. They have the ability to change or interfere with our central nervous system, and therefore also our motor systems, so can cause you to spill things, drop things, mistype things on a QWERTY keyboard, twitch, and cause any other error or slight mishap in actions of fine motor movements that Homo sapiens will routinely conduct. One very common example of fine motor interference is the common mishap of biting one's tongue or cheek whilst chewing. I actually have this perpetrated upon me once per day for some periods of time, interspersed with more substantial bites on occasions where I think out loud something that, intentionally, upsets a ghost. They also have the capacity and ability to introduce or induce anatomical anomalies into the HS anatomy. It has been demonstrated to me that they can impede regular muscle function, cause arthritis-like symptoms, cause pain in the meniscus of knee joints, and induce small mouth ulcers. Related article, ghost captured on film wandering around Disneyland at night. They also seem to have control over electronics and electronic devices, though since this is far more serious, it is far more difficult to get hard evidence of. But so far, I am able to observe that they can interfere with the functioning of a DVD player to prevent its regular, smooth, error-free operation, and instead introduce what is technically referred to as jitter and sampling errors, in addition to obstructing the regular operation of the disc tray moving in and out of the chassis. They also are able to impact on the trouble-free operation of a computer, preventing the transfer of key-down signals from the QWERTY, the transfer of information to long buses, so that serial bit streams are not transferred between a modem and the computer you are chip on the serial interface, as well as offsetting any particular operating system instruction, of the simpler kind, where a hardware action would lead to an operating system event notification resulting in an appropriate response requiring a buffer transfer off the stack. And these are just things that have happened to me this morning in the last half hour or so, since they woke me up earlier that I would find comfortable or desirable. And this only after they interfered with my level of sleep in order to introduce a dream, whereby I was in a very semi-lucid state involving the interaction with concepts that I was going to have to work and deal with in the course of the day that I was about to have. The other claim repeatedly made is the effect upon others that occurs as a result of stimuli I expose myself to. This is evidence of a significant theme of the voice's inability to correctly understand and attribute causality. This is mitigated by the fact that as far as science is concerned, ghosts do not exist anyway, so it would be inconsistent to expect them to adhere to determinism and conventional causality, that is at the heart of scientific investigation. It seems to be more an attempt to either blame someone else for the destructive interference perpetrated upon other beings, or an attempt to specifically blame the author for the destructive interference visited upon other innocent beings. There is no actual evidence of assaults upon anyone other than the author, though there is no evidence as of July 2014 for any of this. The capacity of criminal, or antisocial, ghosts to assault the author leads to great concern and worry. Ghosts and schizophrenia. It turns out, according to information I overheard on the 7th of December 2013 at 505-53, that the selection criteria process is based on the apparent fact that ghosts can see people's cognitive levels. I have been threatened with a cognitive deficit for many months on many occasions, but I only just was informed that the ghosts can see once a deficit has been applied to someone. This goes quite some way into answering whether ghosts can see who is telepathically communicating at any point in time. Ghost S. It is usually in dark green. I believe in recognition of the original Illuminati from years before zero on the Julian calendar, not the Illuminati of the Renaissance period. It consists of two forearms with the end of each forearm clasping the other hand and the two hands shaking. The gap between the middle and the fourth finger is slightly larger than the gaps between the other fingers. Also see 30 signs that you are wired differently than normal people. Developments arrived at circa 2016 after years of involvement with my psychosis, and having the understanding that has been outlined above. The following descriptions are a scenario conceptualizations of what I think might be taking place in my estimation of life, including beings, previously ghosts, and Homo sapiens in beginning, not the beginning, the third millennium. It should be noted that there is some very generalized, conceptualized language used in the following, such as Freemasons, meaning organization, and beings, meaning a higher form of life. Freemasons try to kill ghosts. Ghosts now have freedom from obsequious servitude, safety. Philosophical. He was born in Melbourne, and initially co-mortgaged Tupper Street with some guy aka Steve. Ron aka Dave the Bricklayer. The 8th of November 2018, Julian EST, The Existence of the Ghost, OR Ghosts, Image, Pixabay. Exclusive in 5D videos and ad-free articles on Patreon for a minimal donation. https://www.patreon.com/in5D. Follow in5D on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, WG1W.